I'm not expecting to see anyone here at this hour because it's too late and everybody's
If you're not expecting, we can leave.
at the receiving end. So, my topic, as you know, that I'm talking about data. You've already been trained on AI applications, how powerful it is, how we can leverage. I'm talking about how data can be harnessed to promote learning, to make our learners more engaged, and how by collecting data of our learners in the real actual classrooms, by collecting their samples, by collecting the real life interaction patterns, and that this is loads of data actually we are dealing with every day. So what could be the role of learners, data in enhancing EFL, and probably you know that it might let us have insight into the individual learning preferences or style or kind of the way every learner engages might vary. Also, I mean, when we can adapt our approach towards dealing with individual learners' challenges and also the kind of key strengths that lies in each individual. We have an idea of, it's like a mirror. So data is like, if you really convert the data into infographics, into percentage, into a kind of proper survey, a kind of report. The whole world is running on data, in fact, these days. The things you buy, the way you buy, the kind of websites you visit, all of them are being monitored by companies, tech companies. We as an instructor, or we can also monitor our students, our learners' behavior in their engagements, also about adaptive policies, or the way they can. So, analyzing the data, educators can tailor instructions to meet individual needs. And the good thing about it is that we can always tailor the instructions. Now we have been tailoring instructions. We always have in our lesson plans some room for weak learners, strong learners, and with varying capabilities and also weight. So we can meet the challenges by improving writing proficiency in contextualizing with individual self-engagement. It can be disengagement also, it's not just engagement. The learner may stay disengaged most of the part of your lessons, and we need to find out how we can disengage or we can engage him. So look at the types of data we might collect. It's like learner data encompasses test scores. We have on the LMS, we have progress quizzes, we have other kinds of testing systems. We always have a look at that. We have the full report, grade center. You go to the grade center, we have the number of attempts that they have, the number of times they log in, the kind of duration that log in, kind of, so it aids improvement, language proficiency, analyzing information. The idea is to tailor instructions. And tailoring instructions really help us to modify our teaching approach. So the way we have been teaching in traditional classrooms may not work wonderfully well, as long as we have students using the technology, especially the technology which we are not very comfortable with. So quantitative versus and qualitative data. The two kinds of data we can collect. It can be qualitative, it can be quantitative. Qualitative data might mean, as we do in the research and empirical studies, we go for two kinds of data collection. And we tabulate it. We also show it like which one is more significant in terms of getting to know, having first-hand information. first-hand insight into whether there's a key areas of growth, whether there's a key areas of failures. So, what types of data are essential for formulating instruction strategies? Not only instructions on our lesson planning, it also involves assessing students' progress in writing. Actually, I'm talking about writing especially, but the data is to be employed and harnessed in almost all the skills and across the board, and without getting to know our learners in any other classroom scenario all over the world, we cannot be an effective teacher, and we cannot deal with them to optimize the output and other intended learning output. So, where does the technology come in in order to get to store the data, in order to curate the data, in order to harness it to the best of the our intended purposes. The purpose can be as simple as getting to know our learners. Probably we have heterogeneous learners coming from different areas, different background, different cultural, different regions, and they have their own pitfalls and problems and lapses. And in order to have a cohesive learning environment in the classroom, we need to get to know their and this is called personalization. When we begin our classes, we get to know the name of the learner. What's the point of knowing the name? What's the point of knowing their age, their likes and dislikes? Actually, they all give us insight into their personality traits and to modify and to harness them. So what are the benefits of using learners' data? First of all, it's personalized learning. Now, personalized learning can be, I need to go back to the slide. It can be enhanced collaboration. It can be common challenges. For example, in this classroom, you see the participation is a lot. Everybody raising hands. So the teacher's challenges is not to stop them talking or interacting. Actually, they are too excited to get into and involved in the interaction pattern. But we cannot allow all of them to speak at the same time. So they can be, some of them are hyperactive. Some of them are really not so active. So personalized instructions talked about. Teachers can tailor exercises. We have been talking about differentiated instruction. What are differentiated tasks and instructions, and varying our treatment towards the group of learners. So we need to identify common challenges. We have to work on them. Common challenges could be what? It could be L2. I mean, like they're not the native speakers. They're not the native writers. There's a predominance of L1 in their writing, in their thinking, in their transforming the information. So this could be a big challenge. So we're talking about L2 learners, and these learners, they need to be catered to with their preferences of learning. Like they always think of the ideas and themes in their first language, and they try to duplicate it or translate it or transfer the knowledge. Whatever knowledge they have, they would like to transfer the knowledge in the second language, acquisition. And our technology comes really handy. We have been talking about ChatGPT and all that. Every session, today's seminar is dedicated to AI employment and all that. But we're not talking about how best can these be utilized in our scenario. And we cannot stay skeptical about the usage of this AI anymore. Because one of the days, when we used to say that this is a debate, or is a taboo, or is something unethical to employ, one of the days, because technology is so embedded in our textbook with our digital curriculum, and that we cannot simply brush aside that, I can't approve of this and I can't approve of that. We have to learn with the learnability of our learners and their preferences. So enhanced collaboration, like we use Google Docs these days. We use, we say project-based learning. What is project-based learning? It's all about collaboration. Like a student living in far-flung areas of the world might collaborate, and that's what the previous session was talking about, global citizenship and global friendship and global forum. Now, we can collaborate in real time with the rest of the world sitting at home because of technology. Technology has brought us so close to each other and it is all pervasive, all like it cuts across all barriers. You don't have to be first-class citizen. You just need a working internet to drive your device, and half of the world is using mobile phone these days, and those are smartphones, and not just digital phones that I'm talking about. So all of us learn here in our classroom, they're also using some sort of technology. Now the problem with challenging data applications and harnessing and curations and analysis. The best thing about data efficacy is that we have to analyze the data. Now it depends upon what you want to analyze actually. Do you want to do for research on your own professional growth, professional practice? Do you want to use it for the enhancement of engagement? Do you want them to learn the technology to get better usage of the technology and the data? Like ChatGPT is not the only application of these. There are a whole host of applications within the reach of every learner. Maybe we are not aware of that, but every learner has an access to hundreds of applications all the time. And they may not tell us, but so data collection issues is like we have institutional barriers. Institutions won't allow you to just peep into the personal lives of the learner. So we have a restriction there. We have to go by the code of conducts, and we have to do the case studies, successful applications like from 2019 until 23. We have not included 24, 25. Actually, 25 is the year which is going to decide the fate of the next 20 to 10, 20, and the century. And the century is going to be altered completely because I'm knee deep into this AI world. I know the kind of cataclysmic changes is going to happen in our professional world, in the student learners world, and God forbid we don't become obsolete with our outdated thinking, outdated treatment. So there are certain parts of the world that will continue to go by traditional method. But if we look at the world scenario, it's changing so fast. It's changing every day, so rapid, so in flux. So look at this data, and it just starts to improve students. We just started in 2019, introduction personalized. Then we have data-driven assignments now. Now we have assignments, it's data-driven assignments. Tailored teaching methods for diverse learner needs. That's what I've been impressing. Introduction AI tools to analyze writing pattern. Now, all our learners, they have different way of writing. Even their writing, lexicography, the way they write, the way they use the sentence structures, the way they choose the word, choice of the word, vocabulary, all of them vary from person, learner to learner. And providing the targeted support to the group of learners, that's the focus of using the data for. Developing a collaborative writing platform utilizing learners' data for peer review and feedback. Now, in peer review, we don't have to have all the students together, wrapping their heads to find out. They can do it, like virtual world. We have a complete metaverse, a complete virtual world, an augmented world, where we can have the collision and the collaboration. It's not just getting together. And in the real time, it's all in the real time. And you could also be part of that. Create a classroom on team, on this and this. And I'm going to create additional classrooms. You give a number, just a code number. They will join, they will upload, and you will have the samples of all the writing tasks. Upload it. You can have a look and flip through this. Get the application to give a first-hand feedback on that. And first-hand feedback will tell you the sampling and the representative errors that L2 learners they do. It's a typical of like the subject of agreement, and they will use the subject for and they will not use this. Then the kind of adjective noun, like switching adjective before noun or switching noun before adjective. So you have a representative sample after the collaboration of this. Traditional method, what we used to do? General teaching practices, we used to have writing rely on intuition. What is intuition? Intuition means getting to know into the psyche of this learner, psyche. We need a longer time to know the psyche of the learner. We cannot do that now. Now data-driven practice approaches utilize learners, data to tailor instructions, focusing on specific strength. Means it's targeted. It's a very specific, targeted focused and leading to more personalized learning experiences. Identifying writing patterns. Now, what are the representative writing patterns of this? That's what I told you in our class. We do come across those repeated, writing patterns. If you read this, frequent mistakes. Now, what are frequent mistakes? Spelling. If you ask them to write a friend, F-R-E-I-N-D, it's always, even the brilliant students. So we know that there are certain words, they will always do it wrong. Always do it wrongly. They're never being trained for that because they don't divide into syllables. They don't know what the syllables are. They don't know what the longer words can be pronounced at. How to parse the longer words to get into. Why do we have been taught like personalization? Like it's a longer word. They get afraid of this is spelling. Personalization is a longer. This is it's too long, and I cannot do that. So design curriculum. Now we have the design thinking. Actually, we have the design thinking, not the design curriculum. We have the different kinds of thinking approaches towards the problem. So we have the mistakes with writing style. Teachers can design curriculum, instruction strategies, and also for many students struggle with thesis statement. If it is an advanced kind of writing, they will have problem with thesis. What is thesis? What is the opening sentence, concluding sentence? It comes in between. How do we come with the thesis sentence? Specific sign can we use a larger? That's good. So now enhancing peer review. Now we always ask the students, look at each other's, and we also display here on the board and they're writing samples. And we ask them to go around and see what are the problems with this. So we can do it with the learner's data can enhance peer review process by providing quantitative insight to writing effectiveness. Now, every writing is intended for reader. Now, every writer cannot write all kinds of writing. So we need to know what kind of writing do they need to produce here. And so with their performance and the other performance, they can always be compared. Analytics can be used to compare the efficacies. And also we can do the feedback in real terms, in real language inputs, not just rubric that we come up with. So this only fosters collaboration, also encourages self-reflection, writing habits and skills. Now, unless the student himself reflects upon what he's writing, why he's writing, for whom he's writing, what is that stops him from writing? I mean, there are inhibitions. He cannot express a word. And if I ask the student, please write about what you did yesterday. What you did yesterday? No, he's afraid of writing what he did yesterday because he cannot recall the early morning until night what he did. It's so simple, past simple sentence. Just write the narrative. So storytelling. Here comes the storytelling. Here comes the reading. Embracing the adult practice in language education. We need to embrace them. If we cannot embrace them, we are not getting at the bottom. So how do we utilize them? We utilize them by harnessing them, by curating them, by analyzing them, by figuring them, by representing them, by also getting to know the correction feedback. How do we get the feedbacks? Anyway, this is one of the documents I'm going to use. There's another document that, in fact, you will be fed up with how much I'll talk about the significance of data collection in. We're not doing it in the real term here, but every institutions outside, they are doing it. Why they're doing it? Because they have the advantage of doing it. Now, applications of learning data. Let's see this. Have I done this or the other one? This is done, yeah? Okay, application, then. Okay, let me go to other document here. Let's see. How do we transform? I will further strengthen my posit. Why we really need to collect data in the real term and how does it help with now supposedly we have an application where we actually there was a synopsis. I've just given you a synopsis of what data harnessing can be about and how we need to gather data, and also, let's see. I think so far you're with me and you know that data-driven approaches revolutionary EFLs. You will be convinced towards the end of my presentation that it is important to collect it, it's important to process it, it's important to analyze it. Now, this is like in a scenario where we need to make friendship with technology, and this is not a robot. In fact, when we think of robot, we always think of an Iron Man. No, actually no. The robot is a data collected, harnessed, and changed into. So when you are driving a car, ultra luxurious car these days, you are not driving a car. You are driving this, and you are talking to your car, and the car is talking back to you. And it's based on your interaction patterns, and it also tells you, it gathers a lots of data for the sake of making your drive pleasurable. Now you might say that, okay, it also peeks into my personal life. Okay, don't allow this to peep into personal life. Give limit to what extent your information can be harnessed, to what extent it has an access to it. So we are always doing it in online banking, our Gmail account. We are always using our personal password and all that. So protect your data as long as it allows you to do that. Bridging technology language learning. Now, the question is, how do we bridge the technology? This is a wide gulf. We will continue to do teaching through textbooks in our classroom scenario. Although we talk about digitization, and today's conference is dedicated to digitization, but we'll continue to do the traditional method, where we have to allow the scope for how to incorporate digitization, actual digitization, not for the name's sake. So if we continuously adapt and learn, it's going to be a boon for all of us. Adaptation is the key. Now, 78% of data analysis jobs requires Python skills. 60% of jobs listing mention SQL. SQL is kind of data formation and the way of, it's a language, okay? Let's say it's a language of data. Technology offers unprecedented insight to language learning. That's what I've been trying to prove it. What is the reflection? How can data help you improve your writing? By analyzing, by looking at their patterns, by missing the incomplete data. Now the problem with the data collection is that we're not allowed to do it institutionally. Personal level, students will say no to it. API limitations. I mean, we cannot harness so much of data. We need to store it. The storage is a problem. Now, technical skill gap. Like, all of us are not equally equipped to harness the data or look into the data. We're not made for that. We're traditional teachers. How do you overcome these challenges? If you let me know, like, supposedly, if I want to look at the data, how do we do that? Do we approach our colleague? Do we approach the institutional head? Do we ask institutions to modify its policies regarding this? And these are the ways we can look forward to. Like, a time might come when we will be allowed to collect the data in the real time from our students, and we as a teacher, as a researcher, right? We as teachers in the class are researchers. We may be allowed to harness data. So this is once again, the kind of things that data will help us. Grammar mistakes, vocabulary gaps, sentence structures, tailor lessons to hit those weak spots. Especially tailored to hit the weak spot. No more generic exercises, precision target. Generic exercises means 10 years ago, Unlock, they come up with some of these tasks and exercises. They will not change those exercises. They're not going to change it for the sake of our learners' adaptability. Because every day we cannot publish a book. It takes time. And only the technology can come in where we can target the audience and target with the precision of the data. So collection, web scraping, extracting writing samples. We can extract writing samples from how? They can upload their writing if they agree for it. So ask them to agree for it. We upload all these writing samples on Gmail and all that. Get a Google Doc and get a master copy of that and get a, so Ethical considerations are crucial. We always talk about ethics. There is no harm in getting that. We're not getting into the private life of the students or learners. How do you responsibly collect writing samples? Responsibly. That means, ask the student, is it okay for you? He says, okay. Okay, so we can do that. Okay, now definition importance, data-driven writing, just to let you know that if you want a definition of it. What is data-driven writing? Utilizes data analysis to inform and enhance writing practice. The idea is to enhance writing practice. It emphasizes significance of empirical evidence. Empirical means research-based. It's not just out of thin air, it's research-based. Crafting effective narratives. That means you can have all kinds of different data-based writing, and that will be very effective. Now, relevance to EFL is some context. In English, it's a foreign language. As a second language learner, learners developing life skill by connecting writing to real-world examples. Now, ask them to write about Janadaria festival. You don't ask them to write about Dragon Festival from China. Why should they think about Dragon Festival in China? Why not Janadaria festival? So, real-time learning insights, retrieve performance metrics, retrieval, the data, if you are there, how do you retrieve it? Get it back to the, understand learning progress, what data do you want to collect about your writing? Now, it depends upon what kind of, is it thesis writing, is it general narrative writing, there are all kinds of writing that we talk about. Limited curated, if we talk of the Gulf scenario, there's not been much research, there isn't much data available, and you may be knowing that there is a depth of data, there is a paucity, because we are not doing it. There is no reserve work. It's improving, and we are getting to a point where we can have enough of data. But this is an opportunity to research also. New researchers can get into this data, harnessing and data collection researches. What gaps do you see in the current language learning data? These are the gaps. And we don't have enough data. So error analysis techniques, these are the techniques that we all, as teachers, we know it. How do we spot the errors? It could be frequencies, means how many times is doing the same mistake. Could be interventions, different target, could be tackling article usage. It's very common. A and the. They're never sure of whether it's A or whether it's and or whether it's the. What patterns might you discover? You have to find out what patterns. Now, if I talk about the future of language learning, data-driven insight transforming education, no doubt about this. And technology offers unprecedented learning opportunities. You will agree, all of you, that technology is here to stay and is here to make our life easier. Believe me, it's not to make our life harder. Once we get on well with the technology, it makes our life really, really easy. What is your vision for the future of language learning? Now, language learning will be completely handled by immersive environment. Immersive. We'll have augmented reality, we have virtual reality, we have extended reality, we have metaverses, we have all of these things will be real. The unreal world will be real. And the real world will be unreal. And there will be such a stark distinction between the real and real that we will be amazed at, we see the faking industry these days, images and all that. Yesterday I made a snap of my family, and my wife wasn't very happy with that because the way it projected the image wasn't very impressive. It says you could have added to it, not spoil it, not spoil it, So, but see the Trump and all that. There are videos running around these days. So it's a fakery industry like we have to be very careful about using those technology. What is the global trend? Expanding data-driven practice globally. It's not just here. It's not Saudi Arabia or Gulf. Worldwide, data is being practiced, and it's being integration. Cross-culture adaptation of data practice. Like we go across the countries and overseas students. Here we don't see overseas students. We're all Arabs here. But when we teach the heterogeneous groups of learners, we'll have to tackle this. Improve assessment and feedback, no doubt, timely feedback. You can instantly give the feedback to your learners through technological interventions. Enhance assessment tools, and there are assessment tools we have talked about here. Grammarly and then Quillbot, and these I know 10 and 20 of them. They're all effective tools depending upon how you hire it. Even yesterday I attended a webinar, workshop, our next series is going to have bot. The book will have a bot, feedback bot in our writing assignments. But that bot is not really effective. They are coming with this Pearson and these people, they're showing me a bot. So enhanced assessment tools are going to be, now how we increase the engagement and motivation? Data-driven goal setting. Goal setting means it's not just for us. It's like European standard. Hamid was talking about Europe. Every country is coming up with their own modalities of how to curate, how to harness, how to deal with the data privacy and ethical and all this. I mean, the whole world is agog with this. And this is not something that we have been prepared for. This is something we have to prepare for. It's a future and it's a present, a fun interactive learning environment. Okay, continuous improvement through data. You will see that if we establish benchmarking standard. Now what's benchmarking? That we have the rubric, we have the grading system, and we have the, so monitoring progress over time. I mean, repeatedly, if we continue to traditional versus data-driven approaches, very different role. Technology writing is very important. And how much time I left with? I'm probably not much, yeah?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Utilizing analytics and writing tasks. Analytics is the key to the heart of data collections. We analyze the data depending upon its relevance. It's about its efficacy. Its significance in getting to know our learners, their habits of writing and all that. Innovation data analytics. Now, what are the innovations in emerging technology writing instruction? What are those emerging technologies? There are so many. Algorithm-based writing applications, real-time feedback, personalization, recommendations for improvement. Now, it can also recommend you, like, don't do this, instead of this, do this. So it comes with a ready recommendation. Predictive analytical writing habit. This is really great. When we talk about a prediction, Hamid was talking about LLM, large language model. Large language model is nothing. That's the thing of the past. We are going towards where, and we have reached a stage where we're not using large language models alone. We are doing the predictive text based on so much of data fed into it that we have synthetic data available. Synthetic data means we're not talking about the real data. The system itself churns out data, then it tries to learn the data, then tries to improve itself, and then tries to come up with the newer data. That means it's called reinforcement learning. That's the key, the reinforcement learning. So it's learning by learning, getting to know what to learn, how best to learn. So we are very fast from there. This is stage of field. So predictive analysis and writing outcomes. Technical limits, I said, of course, technical limits should always be there. We have to overcome this. Maybe the guy has no mobile, maybe internet is low. I've prepared so much for today's session. I'm fearing that maybe this technology doesn't work, maybe that doesn't work. So this is always there, that's fear. Ensuring access to all the learners. Everybody is not capable, everybody is not resourceful, everybody is not rich enough to buy an iPad and a phone. All of them are not like this. This was actually the plan of how I could have gone. This is a mind map. This mind map, I don't know whether I can zoom it and you can have it. This is a mind map. I intended to use it anyway, but it's too small to capture. I can share it, this drive. This is a drive, and I can share it right away with anyone who wants to have it. I have so much to talk about. The problem is, this is an area where there's nothing, nothing comes where we have reached this point. This is an ongoing process. And it talks about all the skills. It's not just writing. I'm talking about only writing. The same goes for speaking. The same goes for reading and listening and like speech to text. He was talking about speech to text. We can speechify, we can convert text to image, image to text, and image to videos, and in the real time. I'm using LLM and notes. So it gives me a podcast within 2 minutes. It gives me a podcast within 2 minutes. Yeah. Napkins is another, I've used that napkin so many times. So, I mean, there's no dearth of such applications, but it depends upon how much you invest in it and how quickly you learn for it. Now, we talk about immersion-based digital learning. I mean, it's not my area. Today's, I'm talking about predictive learning analytics. This is, yes, track long-term language learning progress and create a personal learning environment plan. Now, we can plan a personal learning environment by categorizing the students under different heads, grouping them, then asking them to go for project-based collaborations in the real time. It depends upon how smart your guys are, It's not like, you can always assign these things. Multimodal learning. Now, when you think of multimodal, that means audio, video, and all those things come together and in cohesion. Cross-disciplinary language application, this is not just about English language teaching. It's all about all kinds of disciplines that they are well invested in this, well invested. It's not just about this. It's all the other areas. So we're talking about specialized, corpus, language corpus and all that. Now vocabulary in the real term, it gives you not just the frequencies, it also gives you like it's like contrary to or for or against or it's cultural sensitivity or it's a dialect, it's a local language, it's allowed or not, formal English, informal English, this English, that English, all Englishes, all kinds of Englishes. Social realized language learning, understanding communication practice. Now this is cognitive load digital learning. Now this is where some people say, oh, this is removing the cognitive. We are losing our critical thinking ability. Not really. I'm not losing any of my ability just because of using the technology. No, I'm not doing that. Even otherwise you will lose if you're not using it. So use it for enhancement, for learning new things, and for embedding the new things, and use it. Advanced technology and traditional learning method, there are no traditional learning methods now. Now, I don't go by this. There are no traditional learning methods now. All of them are technology-led, and we need to balance it. How do you manage learning complexity? Depends upon, and only technology can help you. Who will help you? Your peer, your observer? Your observer will help you how to deal with this learning complexity. It's up to you and your domain. You negotiate it. Inclusive language learning, digital learning, the research method, analyzing future trends, personal learning networks. Now, global learning connections. We can have a global learning connections. It doesn't mean that we keep visiting the newer countries. We simply go online, check for like-minded groups, join the groups. That's it. You're done. You're already into the frame of the world leaders, world global practitioners. You don't have to be there. Create personalized learning ecosystem. How can you expand your learning? There are guys in my class. They prefer studying alone. They don't need me actually. They say, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm learning. Those who really want to learn, there's a learning space. The learning space is here. Learning space is not the physical walls and the teacher's presence alone. Learning space should be created from here, based on your needs. How can you expand your learning network? And language learning ecosystem design. Computational linguistics and language learning. Now, computational is not our business, but still we need to know that only by computing. Computational power is growing in every. We can have loads and loads of data, state away, streamlined, and on your desktop and in files. So, how do language technology interact? Culture and trends in digital environment. Dashboard. Okay. Privacy, ethics. I've talked about this. These are some of the citations. Am I done?
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted you guys to reflect upon what I have been impressing so far, right? Has it left you with some sort of self-reflection process or not?
Yeah, we're giving.
One question.
Yes.
You said when you took a picture, your wife was angry. When was the last time she was happy with you?
When was the last time I said picture?
She was happy with you.
Alhamdulillah, she has been managing to remain happy with you. So,
Please go downstairs to the closing ceremony in the theater downstairs. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome, Madam.
Okay, brother.